Alright, welcome everyone, and we are doing another mech highlight today, this time with the Firestarter FS9S1. We're going to do something heavy as a mech highlight later on, maybe, say, a Battlemaster that I've been wanting to refit for a little while now. But we need a better light mech. We've been fielding 2 fire javelins, and they're okay enough at their jobs, but we need something with a little bit more flair. So, this is the FS9S1. It's a slightly tech upgraded version of the standard FS9H, and you can see that reflected in the endo steel that it has as its as its frame. So, in addition, we have 1, 2, 3, and 4 flamers, a small laser, and double medium laser. So, a couple problems with this mech as I see it right now. First off, we are under armored, and while that may be okay in a duel, it will get us killed if we try and run this thing in a standard mission or battle where we have so much going on. And maybe that's not the case too much anymore, where we can drop 8 mechs, but if they were all like this, we would have significant refits we'd have to do after every battle, because one of them or 2 of them inevitably get focused, and we lose pieces sometimes anyway, like we saw happen to our Timberwolf some time ago. So, how to fix this? And I know a lot of you may be thinking right off the bat that the way to fix this is something like, oh, I don't know, Ultra Ferro or Ferrofibrous armor, because that's how it really works very well on medium mechs, on heavy mechs, on assault mechs, and here it actually won't get us very far. So we'll reserve 7 dynamic slots, and our tonnage change will be only about 0.56, the standard Ferro. And to double the number of reserve slots to 14, we'd get an additional 0.5 or so. So we'd go to minus 1.06 tons on this mech. It's not enough. What we need to do in order to free up tonnage on a mech this light with this big of an engine, coming in at a 210, which it's not crazy big, but I mean, it's a 35-ton mech. You can get away with a 180 here and still be moving reasonably. In fact, we're moving at a 710. Without even a supercharger, and by the way, we're jumping at 8 because the Firestarter has an improved jump, and we will be keeping this. I am not going to be stripping out jump jets, but we are going to be putting in an XL engine, specifically Clan XL engine, just because it is that little bit better. And this immediately gives us 4.5 tons, which is so much space. But I think, well, let's go ahead and hit max armor, see how much free tonnage we have remaining. 0.875. So we have two choices here. We can put in Clan Pharaoh and bring that up past the 1 ton that is actually functional usable, or we can take a little bit off the back here, give 40, 40, 45. It's not perfect, but this guy is very nimble, very light, and 55 isn't that much more anyway. And this gets us to 1 ton without reserving those additional spots. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to give a little bit of a tech upgrade to certain things like the Guardian ECM, which I do like on this mech, and the AMS. So in reverse order of that, we're going to put in a Clan AMS. I know what you're thinking, it fires fewer times. There are legitimate trade-offs to this. Well, what you do is a standard AMS has a 25% chance of intercept, but fires 20 ammunition per fire, I guess, intercept. And the Clan AMS has a 40% intercept chance and only fires 10. But if we overload it, we get up to 20, and that's a pretty decent damage mitigation there. I mean, consider that this guy's going to be moving either at 8 on the jump or 10 on the sprint pretty much always. And you can really you can get away with it better than you might think. Another thing to look at is we have single heat sinks on here, and it might be worth going up to doubles, but it also might not, because this is a Engine Core 210. We have to put 2 additional heat sinks on here no matter what happens, and that takes up a lot of space. So if you did want to free up the extra half a ton with Pharaoh, you'd be running a little bit shy on free spots here. So while we're still in the, actually before we put in the Guardian ECM, while we're still in the weapons section, let's go ahead and take out these medium lasers and place them with, you guessed it, Clan ER mediums, my favorite laser in this entire game. You're going to be keeping standard flamers, not Clan flamers, and I'll show you why. So standard flamers Generate 0 heat when they fire. They ignore 3 pips. They're anti-battle armor, so they deal 75% more battle armor. They deal 5 damage and 10 heat damage. Clan Flamers, on the other hand, are even better at hitting, so they ignore 4 pips, particularly good at hitting light mechs, but they only deal 5 damage with 5 heat damage. Their bonus damage comes in against targets already overheating, which I find to be a little bit counterintuitive, because most light mechs, most medium mechs, things that you'd actually be needing the additional evasion pip ignore for, aren't going to be overheating all that much, and they're going to be able to get rid of it very easily. A light mech that's overheating a little bit is just going to sprint away from you, get a ton of distance, and not fire for a turn, and they're going to sink back down most of the way. This mech, in my opinion, is actually it's a stealth, heavy and assault mech disabler. Not really something that's meant to kill light mechs. And that Clan Flamer switches that priority, but doesn't do it well enough, in my opinion. The other thing we are going to do is we're going to peel off this small laser. We do lose a little bit of straight damage output, but we've gained a little bit as well from the ER mediums. They deal 30 as opposed to the standard medium lasers 20. So we're still up 5 damage at even longer range than we'd be able to bring that small laser online for. And we're going to put another flamer in here because we want this thing to be even better at its job of just cooking things. It's up to you. You could actually have, it's a reasonable opinion to say, well, rather than have the AMS on here, I want just another flamer. I want to cook things that much faster. And I wouldn't blame you for that. I think that's perfectly fine. But for right now, we are going to go over to our equip, and let's see, Clan Guardian ECN. There we go. Move these jump jets down just so that our component placement looks nice and pretty. And we have a free ton. So a couple things we could do with that. We could, for example, put in more AMS ammo. I don't really think that's needed. We don't actually have another weapon spot, so we can't, unfortunately, attack on another laser. Otherwise, that would be probably what I do right off the bat. Back to our heat sinking discussion. We actually don't need another heat sink. So we're sinking 40. Our alpha strike is 34. On the jump, this might push us a little bit toward the red line, especially on hotter biomes. But it's really not crazy. And if you, well, yeah, so actually, let me show you what that would look like here. So we put in, say, a standard double heatsink kit. Well, we have to take these off first. Okay, that's fine, that's fine. Let's do it. We have 1 ton remaining, because we need to put in still 2 double heatsinks. Alright, so now we're sinking 60 heat a turn. Our alpha strike is 34. This thing will never overheat unless it's being actively targeted with, say, flame weaponry. And even then, you need 1 turn to just drop pretty much your entire heat bar. 1 turn at the sprint. We could put in a supercharger and get our movement up, but I think really want to be jumping more than moving on this one. For that extra evasion, we could put in, well actually let's take a look here. We could put in foot axes, and the reason for this is that vehicles are, they take double damage from heat. So flamers that would do 5 standard 10 heat to a mech will actually deal 5 damage plus 20 standard damage per flamer to vehicles. So that turns each one of these from 5 damage into 25 damage, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. So that's quite a good bit of damage. I mean, 125 plus the 2 ER mediums for additional 60, so 185 damage coming out of a 35-ton light mech. That can definitely move, run, and keep up with those vehicles. If we put in foot axes, we gain 30% more damage on the kick, and that's really pretty good. I mean, this thing could get to be a pretty good tank clearer for us. Not to mention, it's always a good idea to kick mechs in combat as well with something like this that's nimble enough to catch them without having to do something like a charge at 10 paces. Plus, with a kick, you can bring your flamers online, so you can kick them and cook them, which frankly sounds like a good deal to me. Now, there are a couple other options we could do here, say mask, TSM. I don't really think they're all that worth it. What we could have done, if we did have the spots for it, and actually let me check this, because that would be kind of an interesting trick. If we do go ahead and say, okay, well, we really do We really do want to push all the additional weight that we can. We can put ultra. Oh no, we need 2 additional free slots. Okay, let's take out these double heat sinks. Let's put back in a standard heatsink kit. Oh, okay, that's already back in. But we need 2 standard heat sinks. Let's do that right here and right here. And go back over to armor. Let's put in ultra ferro. We have 2 slots available to us. But what we can do with those 2 slots... Actually, do I need all that? That seems to have given me more than it said it would. Interesting. No, I'm just... yeah, actually it did. It gave us 1.6, but I thought it was only supposed to give us... Oh no, okay, 1.6. So... Interesting. Interesting. Put on... Well... Okay, let's put on the Ultra Ferro. I'm wasting a little bit of time here, but you know, that's my prerogative after all. We're going to put in, where is it? The tank airdrop beacon. Right here. So we're full up now. We have no additional spots. But we can push our armor back to maximum. Yeah, I can't switch this out for heavy ferro because it would reserve too many spots. I can't switch it out for Clan Ferro, high risk, because then we'd actually have to take down even more of our armor, which is not what we want to do. But now this thing can also call in a tank, which would be quite a nasty surprise for anything where we're in a duel situation, or let's say we even get relatively behind their formation, we can just drop a tank behind them for shits and giggles. So that's our highlight today. I think this is a much improved version of this mech. Just a little bit of a tech upgrade, a little bit of a plot twist sort of thing here with the tank airdrop beacon and general up armoring on what was already a good chassis with already good armament. So thank you all for hanging around, and we'll see you again real soon.